Monday. Okay, I know I haven't written in this thing for a while, but a lot has happened since I got my powers. Namely, 3 things. First, school is closed after, the whole school teacher turns into a demon and blows it up thing. Secondly, the truth Roderick told me. On Saturday after I killed the muscle demon, as Roderick called it, he took me into a dark room inside the secret base. It turns out that base is actually just an abandoned yogurt factory. In the dark room, he started to explain everything about demons and their mission. Look, since forever, demons have inhabited our world, not just in our realm. Hell actually exists, and that's where all the demons come from. So I guess the Bible was right all along. I thought they were joking that hell actually exists. This is getting really interesting. Our goal is to close all the portals to hell and kill all the demons that came through. Portals only spawn where there is great sin. If a demon becomes strong enough, they turn into devils. You have the blood devil inside you. Wait, he's actually inside me? Thought it was just in my head. You just realized that. The blood devil has the unique ability to close the portals, and that's why we needed you. So basically my job is to close portals and save the world, which technically makes me the main character, but what Roderick said next made me reevaluate my celebration. Don't get too excited. Demons are attracted to blood, meaning you're their number 1 target. So now I have to worry about constant demon attacks, not to mention the government catching me as well. Anyways, back to that third thing. Remember how Roderick said there were only 2 ways to make money? Turns out there are actually 3. It pays the least of the 3, but it's pretty safe. By posing as exorcists, different from exterminators, we go into people's homes, kill the demon there, and get paid. Sorry, but he couldn't be saved. So that's basically what I've been doing these past weeks. As for everyone else, they haven't changed at all since I've met them. I learned more about who they are and such, but that's about it. The only notable thing I learned about was Roderick's ability. Apparently he has control over sound waves and can unleash powerful sonic blasts, like when he blew off the muscle demon's arm. November 10, Friday. I went over to Rowley's today. You'd think since we've had the last 3 weeks off of school that we'd be able to hang out more often, but fighting demons has gotten in the way. We played the new Twisted Wizard 4 DLC, but while playing it, Rowley asked a really strange question. Where were you when the bomb dropped? Oh no, I forgot to mention that the government came up with an excuse for a demon destroying the school, saying it was a terrorist attack. Okay, you got me. I was skipping school to go to Papa Tony's. You were there too? How come I didn't see you? Well, shit. Didn't expect Rowley to say that. I couldn't think of a response and wanted to end the conversation, so I said I was going to brush my teeth and go to bed. Wow, some kind of friend you are, straight up lying to his face. Why are you here? Simple. Why are you here? Because of me, human. This guy thinks he has a right to just scare the crap out of me and say I'm a bad friend? He's a demon. What does he know? I'm lying so I don't have to get Rowley involved. Saturday. I woke up thinking today would be just as fun, but boy was I wrong. After I had left Rowley's house, I was walking down the street when out of nowhere, Roger came barreling down the road on a motorcycle. Since when did he have that? I was about to ask him where he was keeping that, but all of a sudden, it turned out to be a person? Hey, sup dude, get on and let's ride. So, turns out that bike was actually one of Roderick's band members. His name is Evan, and his demon ability was that he could turn into any vehicle he wanted. I asked where we were going, and Roderick said that they had found a new portal and that me and Trista were going to close it. He also said Trista was already waiting there, so we had to get moving. As soon as we got there, however, something looked off. Whether it was the way it looked or the eerie feeling I got from the place, it creeped me out. But seeing as I'm the only one that can use the portal, I'm kinda forced to go in there. Inside, however, it was even creepier. I saw like 12 rats on the floor, lots of trash, and most importantly, well, looks like I won't have to do much because this guy looks dead already. Well, as dead as you can be without skin. I wanted to be nice, however, and I let Trista finish him off. But just as she was about to do it, a sword came flying out of nowhere. We looked to see who it was, and it was a full-blown knight. You fell right into our trap. Now let me cuff you and things don't have to get ugly. Now, I've seen enough movies to know doing the latter is most often the worst choice. Me and Trista had one option: fight. Trista went in first, diverting her chain towards the knight. Like we do that! I quickly made a blood spear and was about to charge in, but things only got worse. Freeze! This was a sting operation. The police were here and they had completely surrounded me and Trista. I looked over to Trista and she was still fighting the knight, so it was up to me to defeat the police. I was blocking their bullets with a shield I had made when all of a sudden, the demon that was killed a few minutes ago stood up and bit one of the police officers. Turns out the portal was real, but the police had just used it to lure us in. Those idiots didn't realize what demon they were guarding, the zombie demon. Now I have to deal with a demon exterminator in the zombie apocalypse. It took a while to smash all their brains, but now that was finished, I could help Trista, who wasn't doing so hot. As soon as I finished off the zombies, I charged in to help her. My spear did nothing to him, his armor was too strong. He then knocked me down, and right as he was about to stab me, Trista used her change to stop him. Not only was he wearing a suit of armor, but he also had a force field. Talk about overkill. I knew that there was no chance of us winning, so I told Trista to run. I thought it would take longer for him to break free, but I guess I was wrong because he was right on our heels. When we reached the exit, Bill was standing right outside. I screamed at him to use his power to light up the armor, and he seemed to get the memo. A second later, he released a massive wall of fire. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that his ability is basically that he unleashes waves of fire, but it barely affected him. Just when we thought we were dead, Roderick stepped in and took care of him. He said that we needed to train more because he wasn't always going to be there. And then he told us to get in the car and we headed home. Amateurs. So, turns out, Papa Tony's had been shut down for 3 months after Papa Tony had been arrested for being connected with the Italian mafia. That means I have to find a new alibi or Rowley will become suspicious again. A few hours later, we dropped everyone off at their house, and when we got home, we both made second thoughts about returning next time. In the car ride, I thought about what Roderick said. Is I really not strong enough to defeat that guy? You know, if you want to get stronger, you can just let me take over your body. Shut the fuck up, blood demon. Hey, that's rude. At least call me by my name. That was a surprise to me. I didn't know demons had names. So I asked him. He reluctantly said his name was Dorakuma and that he'd been around for hundreds of years. I tried to ask more about what he did for the last 100 years, but something caught my eye. Manny had replaced us with fake dolls, and even worse was that my doll had a knife in its head. I was about to ask Roderick whether Manny had been possessed by a demon, then I remembered that Manny had always been like this. Mom said that we shouldn't be shocked because Manny was lonely without us. Then she told us to get in the car because we were going out to eat at a buffet. I hadn't eaten in a while, so safe to say I was really hungry. I didn't really get to enjoy my food because Dorakuma forced me to eat meat. Somehow I managed to eat all of that food, and I thought that would be the end of it, but then Roderick said that I had another portal to close after we finished. I wasn't sure my stomach could survive any more movement. Hey, get some meat on that plate, it helps me stock up on blood. Why are you so obsessed with meat? You want dick in your mouth, nigga? What are you, a vampire? Nah, I've moved from being Dracula. Sunday. I went over to Rowley's today, or at least tried to, because when I got there he was sitting outside his house. I immediately asked him why was he outside, and all he said was that his parents weren't home and had locked him out. Now that I noticed it actually, there was nobody on our street. It was really strange because it was the afternoon and there's no school, so we should have seen a few kids. Instead of waiting for his parents to come home, we went to my house instead. On the way there, Rowley asked me the dreaded question. Greg, how come you said you went to Papa Tony's yet it's been closed for 2 months? Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. After I got there, I saw it was closed, so I decided to lay low for a few days. Just as we got to my door, he finally reached his breaking point. At this point, our friendship was on the line, so with one deep breath, I spilled the beans. Greg, cut the bullshit. Where were you really? Ugh. Okay, fine. I'll tell you everything.
Roderick fucking killed Rowley. All of a sudden, Rowley's lifeless body started to move. In a matter of seconds, he turned into some weird vine tornado. Was he a demon all along? Since when? I looked over to Roderick in confusion, and he didn't even look surprised. Did you even know that would happen? I had a hunch. His only excuse for shooting Rowley was that he had a hunch that he was a demon. I was going to slap him in the face, but someone spoke. Then it began. I clearly remember hearing a rain of hellfire. I quickly tried to find some cover, but Demon Rowley grabbed me and flung me into the air. Dorakuma made me a chain and sickle, and in a matter of moments I was fighting my best friend. I was grappling all over the place, but right before I was going to cut off his head, he slammed me back to the ground. I thought my legs were completely broken, but they were fine. You have me to thank, Dorakuma said. I was back in the fight. However, when I got up, I had a new challenger. It was the knight from before. I looked at him with fire in my eyes and said that this time would be different. He immediately drew his sword. I have to admit, I wasn't that good with a sickle, but I had to fight this guy with something. But then out of nowhere, Trista showed up along with the rest of the group. She had wrapped it around his neck and told me to slice his head, which was a little intense for her to say, but who was I to argue? He attacked us first, but I had completely forgotten about Rowley, because then he slapped me across the street right into a fire hydrant. When I got up and looked around to find where I was, I saw someone on the ground. Sadly, Bill had been shot by the police, and it didn't look like he was going to make it. He started to crawl over to me. It looked like he wanted to say his last rites, so I walked to him. Greg, take this. God fucking damn it, why is everyone biting me? I felt a sudden urge of both pain and power flow through my veins, followed by my entire body being engulfed by flames. Damn, that's a bar. I was in so much pain. It felt like my skin was being peeled off from the inside, but just as it was reaching its peak, it suddenly stopped. At first I thought I had died, but then I looked around. Everyone was still fighting, so I figured I must have just passed out or something. I got back to my feet and started looking for that night guy, and I eventually found him. He was still fighting Trista, and she was still doing a bit better than last time, but she was still outmatched. I formed a weapon from my blood, but this time I remembered I couldn't fight him in a sword fight because unlike him, I had no training. I made a weapon that could take advantage of the knife, a whip. This wasn't an ordinary whip though, because when I created it, it burst into flames. I started to smack his shield with the whip while Tristo tried to grab his sword. We were doing better than last time, but not by much. Plus, we still had to watch out for Rowley's tentacles. Just when I had grabbed his shield, he let go and stabbed Trista in the stomach. It looked like she wasn't going to get up for a while, however that led to me grabbing him. The knight started to laugh, saying that there was no way I could hurt him due to his force field, but after a couple of seconds he started to scream. I wasn't trying to hurt him directly, I was trying to melt his suit with the fire, but I didn't plan for it to bypass his defenses. But when I was about to finish him off, out of nowhere this massive shockwave blew everyone away, and it even killed Rowley. There was so much dust everywhere that it felt hard to breathe. A few seconds after it all cleared, I finally saw what caused the massive shockwave. This guy wrapped in cloth stood at the center of the blast. I guess this was Dynamo, the leader of our group, and right below him was Roderick, who had a hole straight through his stomach. Although, from the looks of it, it didn't look like he was gonna die. It just seemed like he was knocked out. I ran over there and tried to help Roderick get out of there because it looked like they were about to throw down. Just as I started to run, Roderick stood up. At first I thought he had woken up, but I saw that his eyes were white. Suddenly everyone stood up and started to run at the exterminator guy. From the looks of it, this must have been Dynamo's ability. Even Bill was running, even though he had died several minutes ago. Even stranger was that even the police and the other exterminators were attacking him. It started to affect me as well, but instead of my body fighting him, it turned towards the bottom of Surrey Street. I couldn't believe what I saw down there. They had brought the whole damn militia. I was scared because I thought Dynamo was going to have the tanks blow me to bits, but it turned out he had other intentions. While I was doing that, however, Dynamo's attack wasn't going so well. Most of our guys were torn to shreds, while the police and army were in way better condition. It looked like Dynamo was losing the fight, and I think he realized it too. Within a second, he had thrown everyone towards me. I guess he wanted me to take everyone to safety. I had no idea what to do, so I asked Dorakuma what to do, and to my surprise, he gave me a pair of wings. I never knew I could fly with blood. I asked Dorakuma why he didn't tell me I could do this earlier, and all he said was that he didn't want to get arrested, which is understandable. So, just like that, I attached everyone on bloody ropes, and we took off back to the secret base. I thought it would be easy, but out of nowhere, I started getting shot at. I looked down and saw that Dynamo was on the floor with like 3 limbs missing, and the exterminators were shooting at me. The bullets scraped my skin as I flew over the clouds. A few hours later, we finally got back to the base. Mostly everyone was hurt, especially Roderick. Dynamo got captured though, so that's not good. For all I know, they're probably putting his head on a spike. Other than that, we're in pretty rough shape now. And to boot, I'm running out of paper. I'll have to prematurely end this journal until I can find another book. So I guess this is the end, but not really. More like to be continued.
Well, this was unexpected. I didn't think we'd capture you this soon. Neither did I. Well, you seem lucid enough, so let's cut to the chit-chat. Why him?